Welcome back to Phoenix Park. We're going to take a little walk around the back side of the park at this point. You can see here the open land area that I got to in the other video. This is facing north, and we're going to just turn to the left here and head south into the back section of the park. You've already seen soccer fields 1 and 2 in a previous video. This area here needs weed control, pesticide application, and the like, knocking things down when it gets too high. Again, the trees are our problem. We'll deal with it. Likewise over here, weed control, regular applications, whether that's a pre or post application, it doesn't really matter as long as it stays mulched. Up ahead is the rear parking lot. We hope to pave this in the future. For now, it's just gravel. We don't do anything with this. District staff maintains it. To the right, you'll see a fence line, and that is our Phoenix Community Gardens. Again, there's no work to be done inside community gardens like this one. There's another one at Fair Oaks Park. Both of those are maintained by the community garden organizations. Heading further to the south here, we're looking at Soccer Field 3. Again, everything goes counterclockwise in our numbering system. Right beyond these rocks you see up ahead is a mulched area. It's got just a lot of weed growth right now. This, again, needs pesticide applications and the tall weeds knocked down. Beyond it, Soccer Field 3, just a regular mow. We are potentially going to be attempting to make this a premier field for the Fair Oaks Soccer Club, and all that would mean was that we would be mowing it a little bit shorter. At least all it would mean for the purposes of this workload. District staff would do other maintenance regarding aeration and fertilization and the like. The fenced-in area here to the left is our Phoenix Park Dog Park. We close that every Thursday for maintenance. During that time, it's expected to get a mow throughout the park. We're going to walk past some gates here as we head further to the west. That will show you kind of how you would gain access. This small area to the left here really can't get a riding mower in, but it's small enough that just a push behind can get the job done in a couple of minutes. The area we're walking, there are those double gates, sorry. Those double gates that I had mentioned before. You can fit a riding mower through there, and then directly out from there is a set of double gates that goes to a third area of the dog park that you can also fit a riding mower into. This area here was mulched. We're fine with letting the grass grow up through here and just letting the mulch kind of rot out after a while. The trees are watered, but the turf is not, except for overspray. Behind here is a little ditch, kind of a swale that just needs to have the weeds knocked down as they get high, just for a fire break. And behind the dog park here, you can just drive a riding mower all the way through. It curves around back and to the left behind the dog park there and comes out on the far side of Field 3. Just regular mowing. Gonna take one more look in the dog park, kind of give you the scope of that. This area over here can get a little wet sometimes. The drainage for the dog kiddie pools that they have in this area does not go very well, and all the soil around here is very clay filled and rocky, so it doesn't drain very well. We're going to take another look out here onto Field 3. It's a standard soccer field. Up ahead, I think we're going to pass a kind of a leaking sprinkler head. Stuff like this when you're out mowing, that's just something that district staff needs to be informed about. We don't have enough manpower to get everywhere every day, so the heads up from the mowing crews really is helpful. Yeah, you can see it right there. A little bit of reflection of rainwater. It rained the day before this video was taken, so it could have been just bad drainage, but typically when you see something like that, it's probably a sprinkler head. Up ahead here, you see a grove of oaks with some tall grass around it. Don't worry about that. We just mow around that section and leave that as natural land. No pesticide application necessary in there. And again, this fence line here is surrounding the VFW hall, which we do not maintain. We do not own that section of property, so we just stay out of it and mow up to the fence line and weed eat and spray pesticides along the fence line. This is soccer field 4. Standard soccer field maintenance. We're not mowing this any shorter than anywhere else. I guess I'm going to stare at the fence line there for a little bit. Beyond this, there is a walk path that, as you've seen in other videos, circumnavigates the entire park. There's a small section of grass on the far side of that that runs along the fence line that just needs to be mowed or hit with a weed eater on a weekly basis. Mowing tends to be a little bit easier there. It's wide enough. Didn't get a chance to pay attention to it while I was filming everything, but man, it was sure a beautiful day this day that I was filming. Weird to get rain in May, but the grass definitely appreciates it. Coming up on the left here, you see baseball diamond number 2. A little bit later in this video, we're going to go back through and walk around all the baseball diamonds as well, so you'll get a chance to see those a little bit more clear. Actually, as soon as we're done with this video, we're going to pop right back over to the area on the far side of that field, and we'll start from there and we'll walk the baseball diamonds. You see here this walk path that I was talking about. Beyond it, in the direction we're walking now, is technically soccer fields 5, 6, and 7. Have some serious problems with drainage out here around field 6 and 7, as I'm going to get up to in a minute and talk a little bit more about. It's kind of damp, you'll see. But you can see the kind of width of the area to the right of the walk path here. That's neighborhood streets. We don't do anything beyond there. There's not really good access either for any kind of riding mower, so not the best place to park your truck. Later on in this video, we're going to circle around and come back at these fields from the opposite side so you can kind of get a sense of where you are. And this is what I was talking about. We jokingly call this Lake Phoenix. It is a recurring problem because of the drainage. District staff is working on it, but it's not an overnight fix, as you might imagine. They got some little wildlife living there. When this it occurs, mowing can't occur in this area, obviously. You know that better than I do, more than likely. So we just work around it as best we can. Anywhere that it gets too wet to ride your mowers through and we're just digging big ruts, we're better off just coming back when things dry out a little bit more. There to the north, we just saw a parking lot that we're going to jump to in a little bit, giving you a 360 view here. We're kind of standing right in the center of the park almost at this point, a little south of center, but oh, and here we go. All right, we're back north of where we were just standing. This is the parking lot near our snack bar, which I'll show in just a second here. This is pretty much the center of the park. Up ahead there, I'm looking at what we call the old dog park. That's just a mow once or twice a year to keep the weeds down. These planters that you see in the middle of the parking lot, just like everywhere else, just needs to have pesticides applied to keep the unwanted growth down. Then we're looking south, and right about here is where we were just standing. Further out in the distance, obviously, you can see the soccer posts. There's our snack bar, and we do have a Fair Oaks Orangevale Little League organization that is a organization of the public that manages the snack bar there. And so sometimes they drive in beyond our barriers and work in that snack bar during the day, definitely on the weekends and sometimes later in the evenings. Looking at Baseball Diamond 1, Little League Field 1, we just call it B1. Look into the east here. We're going to walk that way a little bit more in a bit, just kind of giving you a scope of where we are in the park before I start doing the walk. Hopefully I turn left here and climb up on this picnic bench so I can show you B1, which is our Little League Field 1, and again the naming conventions are in counterclockwise order. See here just a standard Little League field. Maintaining the warning tracks and the foul lines is important, but otherwise it's just a standard mow job here. Alright, I'm going to hop back to the middle of that parking lot again, and we're going to go around the rest of the baseball diamonds in just a moment. And here we are. You can see there's a lot of weed growth and grass growth in these, just pesticide applications to keep that down. We don't need any plantings or anything like that at this point. This will at one point be batting cages, but that doesn't really bother us now. We're just working around it until the fencing goes up. Little turf area there, and as you see here, that's Baseball Diamond 2. Pretty much just open field. We're not doing anything with the infield here, so you just have to mow the turf all the way around it. And we're looking at the soccer fields that we just finished walking. And I'm going to turn a little bit further left here to baseball field 2, or sorry, 3. Can't keep them straight. That would be B3, and up ahead is B4 here with the yellow top around the fence line. Then I'm going to walk back towards the snack bar. This is heading northeast now. B4 on the right with that yellow railing. There's access for riding mowers on the far side. It's a little closed off up here, but you can get a riding mower in there from just to the right of where this fencing ends. We're going to walk around it, heading towards B5, Little League Field 5 here, just past those 2 trees. This whole turf area can just be mowed. That's looking back at B1. We have 6 total baseball diamonds here. I'm sorry if I'm getting confusing by just saying numbers over and over again. I'm not trying to make this more difficult than it has to be. But this is B5. Stretches out that way. We're going to head north, which is the way we're looking in just a moment. But I'm going to get a closer look at this baseball diamond here. There we go. It's one of the larger ones in the park, the largest one in the park. We don't do anything with the infield, just mow the outfield. We're passing the gates in on the right here. All these sections of turf on either side of the pathway, just a quick mow, weed eat and pesticide applications on the fence line so we get the tall grass knocked down. We don't really want to have 3-foot tall grass blocking the view of the fields. And then we're going to go this direction further to the east in just a moment, but I want to just hop up to baseball 6 here. And I'm going to get a better look at it in a moment, but you can kind of see the gist. It's very similar to baseball 1, which we looked at first. We just had these reseeded, essentially, and we're trying to keep them in good shape, but they get a lot of wear and tear, just a lot. Alright, now we're going to jump back to the walk path in between B5 on the right, B6 on the left. I'm going to show you one more time through the open gate of B6, and then we're going to continue our walk around the park. And I apologize for the length of this video. At least you're not out walking in 90-degree weather. You can check these out from the comfort of your own office. Alright, here we go. So, maintenance of the warning track and I'm not a baseball player. Foul lines, of course. My brain just stopped working there. Is great with some pesticides. Mostly it's just a mow job for within these fence lines. You'll notice that the grass is kind of browning out back here. We try to reduce our water usage by turning water off in unnecessary parts of the park or underutilized. Nobody's having a picnic back here, so the grass doesn't grow much once the rains stop. At that point, we just knock it down and let nature take its course. You can see here beyond these posts is the vernal pools. We looked at those in a last video about Phoenix Park. Beyond the post to the right, we don't do anything. I'd even recommend not spraying much pesticides throughout this entire section here, except for right up along the fence line to the left, just because we are pretty concerned about overspray hitting the natural lands of the vernal pools. That being said, managing the tall growth along fence lines out here at Phoenix Park is one of the major parts of the job. So again, maintain to the right of the walk path we're on, but don't go over the walk path to the left here because it's protected lands. It's actually a national natural landmark that we own. That's part of a large system of landmarks across the United States that are all protected land, but some are owned by private organizations, some are owned by just individuals, and some are owned by government organizations like this one. Primary concern for me is the tall grass along the walk path here. Knocking down tall grass to the right of the edge of the walk path from time to time, and then managing the tall growth along the fence line you see to the right there, which is the backside of Baseball 5. We're getting up to the back section of the park. There is a playground here that needs to be blown off while you're out here. Debris removed from the poured-in-place surfacing. This area back here currently has the irrigation turned off, so it doesn't grow very well, except for what you'll see up ahead is a leaking valve that we're working on currently. Hopefully by the time whoever you are that starts the work, that will be fixed and the tall grass won't be an issue, but it's kind of impossible to mow back there right now just because of how wet it is. You can see it's just an open turf area. There's some horseshoe pits in dire need of assistance, some barbecue pits, some picnic tables. Again, anywhere there are picnic tables or benches that aren't secured into the earth, but they're out in turf, they need to be moved. Same thing with goalposts, soccer goalposts, I should say. Just need to be moved out of the way and mowed underneath. You can see past the kind of round tree. I believe it's an oak, but it's hard to tell through the video. To the left of the screen here, that goes out to a rear parking area in the back of the park that we're going to hop to in a little while to show you another couple of sections. Just to get your bearings, this is the southeast corner of the park. We're going to jump over there in just a minute. For now, just worry about the turf in here. Yeah, just down that pathway would lead to the parking lot that we're going to jump to in a minute. If there's ever low-hanging branches like you see on some of the trees back here, it's really important for you to let staff know so that we can come out and trim it up so that you can actually get your mowers under there. I'd rather spend the staff time to send somebody out to trim up the low-hanging branches rather than you not mow underneath. Alright, we're going to walk over into the very south end of the park here in a moment. Actually, we're heading there now. This area you can get access to from that back parking lot I mentioned, and this just needs to be kept as a fire break. Tall grass knocked down, as you can see here, and I'm not going to walk all the way over there because I'm going to show you from the other side later in the video. But knock it down, and this, heck, looks like about 10-15 foot length away from the fence line. We've had people from the neighborhood try and keep that down themselves and have started fires in the area, so we like to do it ourselves. You can see what I was talking about with the low-hanging branches here around this tree. Cutting all those branches off might be detrimental to the tree, so in those situations where we can't raise up the canopy, you're just going to have to get in there as close as you can with weed eaters, but please don't hit the trunks. Excuse me, tall grass to the left here, it just can stay. That's not technically vernal pools, but we keep it as such. It's just natural land. Otherwise it would not be in use at all. Up ahead you'll see soccer fields 5, 6, 7 from the opposite side of where we walked them last time. Perfect example, trash can, picnic tables right here. Move them, mow under them. You don't even have to move them back, just mow around them, move them to the side a little bit, mow, and then keep going on your merry way. Alright, you can just barely see Lake Phoenix out in the distance there. And we're coming up on a CEMAS station, which is a weather monitoring station. We have to keep that area locked up so nobody damages the equipment. And we have to keep the area damp so that it reads all its necessary readings correctly. I'm not sure exactly how it works, except that it calculates moisture in the soil and wind temperature, or wind speeds, temperatures, stuff like that. What we need to do is knock down this tall grass around it so that the sprinklers can hit it, and open up the gates, which we have access to, and just knock down the grass. Whether you do it with a push mower or you do it with a weed eater is up to you. Not spraying any pesticides in there, just knocking the tall grass down. That has to happen every time you're out here. Alright, we're just about to jump to the absolute rear of the park, that parking lot I was telling you about in just a moment. We're coming back to the snack bar area, the center of the park. Up ahead you'll see B1, to the right B5, to the left B4, as you just saw the sign. So that's kind of the scope of the place. Here we have a transition, I hope. Here it comes. Here we are. Alright, so this is the opposite side of where I was first talking about the rear parking lot. This is on Vega del Rio. I'm not sure if that's street or way, but I can answer that later if you have any other questions. I'm traveling south here to show you the opposite end of the fire break, which is right here. The chain is already down for us. That should be locked up, so if you ever get out there and there's no lock on it and it's just down, you got to inform the staff. So just past this shadowy area ahead is where we were standing before. And jumping back to the main area, just kind of show you the areas inside these wooden bollards. Still vernal pools, no maintenance required whatsoever, but pathways like this and parking lots like this still need to be hit with a blower, the backpack blower, and cleared off so that they look nice and nobody trips on anything on them. Now I'm going to take a step back, and we're almost done with this video, I promise. Again, sorry for the length. I hope I can upload it in one big chunk, otherwise this could get interesting. This is just showing the parking lot. There's just, excuse me, I just had lunch, so I'm a little burpy. That's all of our parking spaces, But we do have a walk path that heads to the north here, which I'm about to jump onto and show you around. So you can see the wooden post to the left, which of course inside is the vernal pools, no maintenance. This walk path, if it starts getting overgrown, it's just DG, so you can hit it with pesticides to knock down the grass that's encroaching. Otherwise, park staff can maintain the DG surfacing. Okay, very pretty vernal pools going on. Yeah, so you see here on the right, at the edge of that post and cable fence you see right there, beyond that is not our property, so we can knock down the tall grass up to that point. The rest is a private residential neighborhood, and we're not in the business of mowing the public's lawns for them, just their public park lawns. But here on either side of the path, up until the wooden bollards, this can just get knocked down on a regular basis. It doesn't grow super duper fast. There's no irrigation back here, so after the rains stop and you knock it down, it probably won't come back very well until the beginning of the rains later on in the year. This walk path heads all the way up to the north of the park, and I'm trying to walk slow here to eliminate a little bit of the motion sickness you might be experiencing from this video. It's not working very well, but that's why it's taken so dang long. I normally don't walk this slow. Alright, we're still looking north. I just had to stop and restart the video to let a jogger go past. I didn't think they'd appreciate being filmed and put on the internet without their consent. I wouldn't necessarily say be careful back here for wild animals, but we have had coyote sightings, so just keep your eyes peeled. They're cowards, so if you're out here with a backpack blower or a weed eater, they're more than likely going to run away before you even see them. So there is the possibility of wild animals to think about in this park. We're right near the American River Bluffs, and the vernal pools is a habitat for many animals, so just keep that in mind while you're out here. Almost there. Sorry about the length of this video. Again, one more time. It looks like it's going to clock in around almost 28 minutes. You can see our property goes out to the right a little bit more here. The post and cable fence is not nearly as close. If you're mowing or weed eating out here and you do get grass clippings out into their property, please blow it back up onto ours. We also don't want to make a mess for the nearby park neighbors. Alright, we're getting close to the end of this second Phoenix Park video. I'm going to just say a couple of final things as we walk up to the north terminal point of this pathway. This is our largest park. It does take sometimes 2 days to take care of. There's a lot to do, but it's very important that we stay up on this park because it's one of the busiest. During sports season, we get a lot of people out here, so we need to have it looking as good as possible for the public. Just letting it slip for a week and the neighbors will be calling. And that's about it for this video. I'm going to let you go, and I'll see you in another video.